Sometimes the inner dual valve stem is difficult to reach. So we have these little 1-inch extensions. These screw right onto the valve stem. And this is where you add air from that point on. This is not a threaded shaft that'll take a valve cap. This keeps the air in, and before you add air, wipe the tip of it off with your finger like that, and that's all there is to it. This is not a spiral thread. That's only notched to hold your tire inflation chuck. Sometimes the inner dual valve stem is difficult to reach. So we have these little 1-inch extensions. These screw right onto the valve stem. And this is where you add air from that point on. This is not a threaded shaft that'll take a valve cap. This keeps the air in, and before you add air, wipe the tip of it off with your finger like that, and that's all there is to it. This is not a spiral thread. That's only notched to hold your tire inflation chuck. Back to the tire inflation. This was at 80 pounds, and now I've added air. And if your air chuck and if the valve stem threads are good, the air chuck will stay on the valve stem while you back away from the tire and start your count. So it was 80. I've probably talked for about 10 seconds, so it's about 85 now. And so we'll go 86 and 87 and 88 and 89 and 90 and 91 and 92 and 93 and 94 and 95 and 96 and 97 and 98 and 99 and 100 and 101 and 102 and 103 and 104 and 105 and 106 and 107 and 108 and 109 and 110 and 111 and 112 and 113 and 114 and 115 and 116 and 117 and 118 and 119 and 120 and 121, and that should be enough. Pop it off and check it out. There you are. We overshot it by a few pounds, so I'll let it a little out. Since the bus is going into storage, you know what? I'm going to leave it alone. This tire leaked down, and because it leaked down, I'm just going to leave it at 132. We're not driving in. I'm just going to park it, and that may buy us some time so it doesn't leak all the way down to flat again. So that'll be it for now. All right, now.
No, it's blurry. Too close. Too far away. Yeah. You can kind of see it.
Okay, here's something you might want to think about when you're buying one of these tire pressure gauges. This is a white panel with light gray numerals on it. You might want to look before you buy it and see if you can find a tire pressure gauge that either has a metal stem with the numbers stamped into it, or at least they're black numbers. I don't know about you, but I'm too old and too poor-sighted to see gray numbers on a white scale. But if I look close, I can see it. So we'll start by checking the tire pressure. And that was about 76 pounds. So this is a 180-pound air pressure source. And I'll plug that in and make sure it makes a good seal and stand here and hold it. And I will count 77 and 78 and 79 and 80 and 81 and 82 and 83 and 84 and 85 and 86 and 87 and 88 and 89 and 90 and 91 and 92 and 93 and 94 and 95 and 96 and 97 and 98 and 99 and 100, 101 and 102 and 103 and 104 and 105 and 106 and 107 and 108 and 109 and 110 and 111 and 112 and 113 and 114 and 115 and 116 and 117 and 118 and 119 and 120. And now, let's see what I ended up with. 112. Counted a little fast. So, here we go. 112, 113, and 114, and 115, and 116, and 117, and 118, and 119, and 120. And there you have it, folks. Can you see that, Mike?
No.
A little closer?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay, what does it say?
120.
There you go. Okay, folks, now tap the pause button, the two lines up there, Mike, and we'll get... Okay, here we are, back outside with this big old girl. Let me tell you something. Here in Minnesota, we don't name our buses after our boyfriends. We name them after our girlfriends. All of the vintage buses in Minnesota are female. Little bit of what's left of the sign. The sea fell back over onto the roof, and one of these days somebody, probably me, will get up and fix it. The antenna tower is no longer in use. We don't have two-way radio equipment on the buses anymore. I don't find it necessary. If we need to contact somebody, we can call their cell phone number, and they can hand their cell phone to a passenger to answer and to relay messages. Or if there's nobody but the driver on the bus, they can pull over and return the call. So that's how we do that. Before I put this bus away, it's necessary to check all the tires. We do this all the time to get the air pressures up before we park the bus. And you can see why. Look at here. This looks like we either have both tires low on air or one of them is flat. I hope they're just both low on air. Now what I'll do on these tires is I'll fill them up to 120 pounds. As winter comes and it gets colder, air pressure drops in them. By the way, here's a look at the front steps. This bus is in nice shape, and I like the color of the flooring. I like this blue rubber flooring. Okay, pause. Hi everybody, Phil here. Today is Tuesday, November 19th or something, and I'm out here herding a big old buffalo from taking up a parking space we need for revenue equipment. Gonna put it up in the west lot today. It took a shot of ether to get it started, but it's running good, and things so far look good, and the batteries are charging, and so I'll show you a little bit of the bus. I turned the heat on, and what do you know? It's working. And so is the defroster. You see this punch here? This bus was retired from commuter service. So that's the punch, punching ticket. I'll swing around and show you the interior, which is in nice shape. This bus could go out and do a day's work today if we wanted it to. So I'm going to pause now and take you outside and show you things.